Hello again, everybody. This is once again FIDE Master Dalton Perrine from chessuniversity.com, and this is another video in the Tactics Time video series that we're going to be doing today. In this video series, I'm going to be working on solving different tactics trainer positions here on chess.com. With each of the positions, I'm first of all going to start off by showing you guys the tactic puzzle. I'll give you guys the chance to pause the video so you can work on solving the puzzle yourself, and then I'll be explaining my thought process behind solving the puzzle, and then finally showing you the solution to each of the tactic positions. So, without any more waiting around, it's time to solve some tactics here. Let's get started, see what we're given here. Okay, so black here has just made the move Queen A5. It is white's move in this position. Go ahead and think about what you would do if you were white, and pause the video, and then we'll talk about it as soon as you unpause the video. Okay, so in this position here, black has played Queen A5. It looks like maybe our king is going to get checked on A1 with the rook. Queen takes D8. The queen is also attacking the rook on D8, which we have to be a little bit aware of. We are up the exchange at the very least, so that's pretty good for us. I am leaning towards, my first instinct was maybe there's some kind of rook takes F8 idea, but I think after the king takes back, we check on C8, the king goes to E7. I don't see a follow-up after that, and we've just sacrificed the exchange without a good reason. So instead of taking on F8, maybe doubling up the rooks on the C file is the way to go. That's what I was leaning towards next. Because if we put both rooks on the C8 and D8 squares, then we're threatening to take F8 for free, and there's not really a way black can stop that. Now, if you're going to make this move, you have to calculate and analyze rook A1 check. If we put the rook on C8, he checks on A1, we go king C2, I don't see a follow-up check, because if the queen tries to check on C5, our rook is on C8 and can come back and capture the C5 queen. So it looks like doubling the rooks up. We have to play king C2 after this check, and there's nothing black can do to stop us from playing rook takes F8, and then we'll be up a full rook at that point. Now, it is important that you do some calculation to make sure that you're not like walking into some kind of mate, but the thing is that black has no more good checks from this position, so next we're just going to take F8, be up a rook, and win the game pretty soon after that. Okay, let's move on to our next one. Okay, so black's move here. White has just played the move queen takes E4. Go ahead and think about what you would do if you were black here, and then we'll talk about it in a moment. Okay, so it's black's move in this position here. I don't see any checks, so we can rule that out. I don't see any good captures, because I don't think we're going to take on F4 or D4 and lose a rook or a queen. But there are some pretty good threats, especially with this queen now in the center of the board. We do definitely have a few ways to attack the queen. The main ways I see are bishop d5 and bishop f5. I'm leaning towards bishop f5 as being the answer, because after the queen moves, we're skewering the queen to the rook on b1. The queen moves away, we take the rook, and we're up a whole rook there, which looks good. I'm also still going to look at queen d5 here for a moment, because maybe this is, maybe the idea is that if the queen moves, there's some kind of checkmate attack with queen g4. I don't think there is. The more I look at it, I don't think there is. So I'm leaning towards bishop f5 being the move here. So bishop f5 skewers the queen to the rook. We pick up the rook, and then we're simply ahead an entire rook at this point, which is definitely winning for black here. So this one just kind of comes down to noticing the skewer, noticing the diagonal, and then looking for threats of our that our bishop can do in the position. Okay, so in this position here, it is it's white's move right now. Go ahead and pause the video, see what you can come up with for white here, and then unpause the video when you are ready. Okay, so in this position, it's white's move. This one is, I believe, a fairly straightforward, just checkmate attack. The important thing to notice is that the king is kind of cut off from the d8 and e7 squares. So there's two different ways to check the king. Actually, I'm sorry, the queen is pinned, so maybe I'm completely wrong here. Now that actually changes things, now that I notice it. No, it actually the answer is still the same though. It looks like. So the queen being pinned doesn't actually make too big of a difference here. We still want to go ahead and play rook takes e6 check. Now we could take on h6 and win a piece, and that's definitely going to win the game pretty soon. But there is a checkmate from here actually. So I believe. I was thinking rook e7 check, king f8, and then rook f1 check, but I think knight f6 there actually defends. So now I'm leaning towards rook takes h6. If the answer is not rook takes h6, it's going to be rook e7. But I don't think rook e7 works now. So I think we're going to go ahead and take on h6. Okay, it actually says this is incorrect, so that's interesting. Let's see what the, let's see, let me retry it. I'm going to assume it's rook e7. King f8, rook f1. And it says solved, but I would probably say this is a bad tactic here. Because rook f1's not actually mate. Black can play the move. Let's go to the analysis board. Black can make the move. Let's take king here. Rook check, king here, rook f1. Black can make the move knight f6 here. And rook takes, first of all, the queen is still pinned, so we can't do queen takes f6. Rook takes f6, king takes e7. I guess here maybe the difference that the tactic trainer likes is that rook takes h6 is with a discovered check now. So maybe objectively this is the best route, but I really would not fault anybody whatsoever for just going ahead and taking on h6 here. I guess the computer says it's mate in 10 here now that I'm looking at it, but rook takes h6 is still like plus 13 for white. So I guess technically rook e7 followed by rook f1 is stronger, but you do have to, you know, I would say if the knight was not on d7, then it would be pretty straightforward, but the knight going to f6 does, you know, you have to sacrifice the rook, but then you take on h6. So I guess this is objectively best. So, okay, I think when I said it was a bad tactic, I guess I'm wrong on that. But I think rook takes h6 is also completely winning. Then again, there's lots of tactics where you have multiple wins, but there's usually one best answer. So, anyways, so I got this one wrong, so nothing wrong with that. Just definitely some learning stuff here. Rook e7 does lead to a checkmate attack. Rook takes h6 just leads to a big, you know, lead in material. Both are good, but rook e7 is technically better. Anyway, it's definitely an interesting series of puzzles. A little bit tricky one here with the final one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, though. I will see you guys around in a future video for chessuniversity.com. Maybe another tactics time video or another kind of video series. So that's it for me, though. I will talk with you guys again in the future. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.